Hey everybody, welcome back to Universe X, and today we are going to dive into the Shifts and Power series. The flavor this time will be green. As you guys have probably been seeing, if you guys have been paying attention, the theme of this series is just trying to figure out where colors are going to be in the balance, or maybe previous imbalance in green's case, of power after the current ban list as well as Ultimate Squad drops, because a lot of changes and some of them are more subtle than others. So we're gonna get into green today. Just to give you a general roadmap though, this upcoming week we will be doing the other colors. We'll be doing the shifts in power for yellow and black. We're also going to be hopefully doing something with my first Digimon locals that I'm going to tomorrow, whether that be recorded matches or not quite sure. I was actually gonna throw it out there. I'm thinking about going live on Wednesday night, going live until about midnight. Maybe we'll start at like 9 or 10, maybe we'll start at 10 then go until midnight. Up to you guys, we shall see. But yeah, let me know if you guys would be interested in a live session that goes until about 12:30 maybe on Wednesday into Thursday. Should be cool. But past that, we've also got some other content on UniX DB. That's where I play the Dragon Ball games. Dragon Ball Legends just released their anniversary part 1 banner, and so you can go over there and catch me trying to hunt for Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. The unit is incredibly insane, broken. It's amazing. It looks gorgeous. So yeah, go over there, show it some love. Link will be in the description for that too. Now on to the plugs. If you haven't already, please go visit the official Facebook group for this card game. It's where you get all the official announcements as well as spoilers. You can visit the unofficial discussion group where we talk about everything, the unofficial Reddit where we talk about things as well. You can visit the Universe X Discord where there's a lot of stuff. You got channels for the games, like the card game. You have a budding channel for the One Piece card game. We're gonna put some Digimon stuff up there. You've got video gaming channels, there's a gun channel, an anime channel, memes. There's so many places for us to do things in the Universe X Discord. So let's just keep growing as a community. And last but not least, if you think you might like the content, or you get to the end of it and you're like, you know what, this guy, not that bad, think about joining the Universe X family and pressing that subscribe button. And you can also hit the notification so you never miss a beat, like the video so it trends, and without further ado, we're going to jump directly into the video, so hope you enjoy. All right, so it's green, okay? We have memed on this color for eons. It has just not been a competitively viable color for quite some time, and this is unfortunate. Green seems to always be the color that gets memed on. It's the color that Bandai seems to just put test decks in. Oh, we have a gimmick that's weird, let's try it out in green. And this has led to many more misses than hits when it comes to the swings they've taken. And that has hurt, especially if you're a green player by nature. If you like the hand destruction and battle card destruction that green offers, it's unfortunate that almost none of the archetypes get to come together. However, things change in a major way during this upcoming format. The ban list did not hurt or help green whatsoever directly, but by hurting decks like black decks that were able to put out card after card after card, sometimes faster than green's battle card destruction could keep up with. You had decks that were playing at a much more accelerated rate when it came to card advantage, like Icarus, that are gone now. Icarus at some points were too fast for any hand control deck outside of Cell Surge to deal with. And it was kind of like Cell Surge was one of the best decks for green, even though it was a kind of green-yellow leader. It was a green deck. And it got hit because its hand destruction was too uninteractive and it was just too strong. And after that, green's successful viability all came down pretty much to King Cold. You had some Majin Buu rogue aggro, but it really was King Cold carrying Buu's identity on its back, because Buu was a green deck that didn't really do green things. It had some destruction in the form of absorbing, but it wasn't really hand control. It was more just like an aggro deck because of an interaction between the blue Hercule card, tokens keeping your battle cards on board, etc, etc. However, King Cold was able to incorporate bits of hand control, it was able to filter quite a lot, and it was able to put a lot of damage through with leader swings, allowing you to not have to fall prey to things that could hamper things like battle cards. So you had a lot of cool stuff from you there, and also the Frieza boss card was monstrous for that deck. But now, with the decks that could flood the board a little bit out of the way, decks that could draw far too much for hand control to initially stop a little bit out of the way, you have a position where green has a little bit of room to breathe. But luckily now, green is not just here with its previous thing. So if we're gonna talk about King Cole, we'll keep this brief because it's been around for quite some time and most people should know what it does, even as a rogue deck. King Cold brings to the table a strategy that doesn't work quite like other strategies. The deck is going to filter quite a bit. The field cards are very powerful in effect. The leader is able to push through a lot of damage, and as we all know, leader cards are very uninteractable when it comes to effects they're given. It's once a leader card goes through on a swing and you don't counter and you don't block, it's just your combo versus their combo essentially. So King Cold is able to get itself into a lot of positions where it's able to just press through damage and really just get in there. But that's not what the focus is of this video. We want to talk about two decks. One of them came out shortly before Ultimate Squad, but it's technically in the Ultimate Squad cycle. It is the Ultimate deck for 2022, which is Cell. It's on the screen now, and this time I have the right asset, so don't at me. Last time I posted the Expert deck because I was doing this late, didn't even read the card. Oops. But yeah, this is the Ultimate deck for 2022, which is Cell. And the things you guys have to understand is that this deck is a quintessential green deck, in my opinion. There's a lot of built-in destruction to this deck, but just because it's green androids, there's also the potential to destroy hand. Now, this is kind of one of those decks where I feel like, I'm not going to say this is hand control done right, because turn 5, if you have no outs for what they can do, you are generally just going to lose that turn, or the following turn. However, this is hand control, I think, done in a good way, because Cell Surge is able to pick at your hand through a bunch of turns in chunks that were unbearable at times. This deck gives you at least the first 4 to 5 turns to not be destroyed like that, and then you can go off. But the main thing you have to understand about this deck is that what you can do on turn 5, right? You can hit Wretched Regeneration, and Wretched Regeneration is going to allow you to play a Cell card, and that will be perfect for Cell, dropping them down to 3. And then past here, you have 2 different ways of playing, you know, how this is supposed to go, okay? You have 2 different ways. If your board is set up with 5 more costs of green cards on board, you can Successor into Cell Xeno on 5 energy. So you drop your opponent down to 3 cards in hand using Perfect for Cell, and then you Successor into Cell Xeno, removing the last 3 cards. Or if you have Vegito Unison at its maximum markers, or its markers to use as ult, you can Wretched Regeneration, drop your opponent down to 3 cards in hand using Perfect for Cell from set 2. Then you can -7 off of Vegito and take the rest of your opponent's cards. So there's 2 different ways that you can rip your opponent's hand from 3 to 0 after you use Wretched Regeneration into Cell. Now, this is crazy, because going down from whatever cards you have in hand on turn 5 to 0 is monstrous. And if they still have a board, they can just push you in right then and there. If they hit you with a Cell Xeno, you are dead, son. Like, you are actually just dead. They might swing at you 1 time to take you from 5 to 4, and unless you drew, like, you know, a negate. Actually, it'd have to be a negate that's sparking. You have to sparking into a second negate. Cell Xeno just killing you, and that might not even get you through the rest of the field if they still have one. So, yeah. This deck has a bunch of destruction, a good amount of filter, and because of this, is going to be able to come together in terms of what it's trying to do to your face. Now, the criticisms I will have for the Ultimate Cell deck is, because I always like doing the salt before the sugar, is it's extremely linear, and the deck is tight. It is such an archetype based deck that there is barely any room to side. There's barely any room for text. So essentially, these decks are going to all operate the same. Every Ultimate Cell deck is going to operate the same, and you're not going to be really looking at too many surprises for the optimal build. There's just not enough room. Also, if the format goes too wide, this deck will only be able to cover so much in its sideboard and its main board text. So all in all, this deck has some very powerful plays, and its turn 5, unless you have a counterplay that stops Perfect for Cell, its turn 5 is generally going to be your cheeks on a platter, just generally regardless. Just the deck filters enough for it. Hey, baby girl. But, Cat's still here, by the way. But, basically, that's pretty much that. Now, the pros, the deck is, once again, consistent, and it does what it does like clockwork. It's hard to kind of draw bad at that deck, I feel like, because the deck is just going to fix itself with its leader effect and its other effects. It has very good filter. It's also very accessible. You buy 2 of these starter decks and there are very few cards that you need to buy, and most of them have been reprinted nowadays anyway. You're getting your charismatics, you have most of the deck from the starter deck. Cell Xeno has been reprinted in Mythic Booster. You pretty much are going to get what you need to get. And so because of this, yeah, the deck is extremely accessible and can put up results. So that's nothing to scoff at. Now though, you have Cooler, okay? Cooler's coming from Ultimate Squad, and Cooler is a very interesting deck. Cooler has a plethora of destruction at its disposal. Why? Because Cooler is a unison-based deck that works on empowering unisons through cycles. The leader is great because he's able to draw or play a unison from hand after taking a life or up to 1 life. And Cooler is also going to be able to draw once per turn when a unison leaves the field, allowing you to, cantrip with your unisons. And floating is very good. So you combine this with just how the deck is going in general, and what you're left with is a very strong toolbox. Cooler himself will draw and play these cards without energy sometimes, but the toolboxing you have is a Door, which is a unison that goes from 5k to 15k. He's going to be able to search a 1-drop Cooler. The 1-drop Cooler gets played and he searches a 1-drop unison. You have Neats, which is the negate. Not really the most important one, but then you also have Salza, which is arguably one of the most important ones, and Salza is going to be able to charismatic. It's literally a charismatic on unison. So counterplay and he blows up something with 7 costs or less. Very strong card. So between this, you're in positions where there are turns where you can Salza somebody for a body, and then you can also, please stop digging in your claws. You can Salza somebody for a body, but then you can also charismatic them for another body. And this is very powerful. Like, you can take 2 bodies off the board. And there's also going to be times where it's even stronger than that. There's a card called Dodoria, if you guys don't know, and Dodoria is going to be able to counterplay a 2 cost or less. And so there are turns with even just like 2 energy open, your opponent can play like their 1-drop that starts off a play, a Union Absorb or maybe a Gohan from Universe 7, and you could be like, tap 1 Dodoria, goes to the grave instead. Dodoria comes a body. Okay. I'm going to tap 1 for a Golden Frieza or a Android 17 or anything. Cool. Tap 1. I'm going to play Salza. Salza's going to go over my old unison. In power, I get to blow up your battle card, and I get to draw 1 from Cooler's effect. Well, okay. Well, it's time to play that 3rd card, and then it's like, all right, bet. I'm going to drop Charismatic and blow it up. And now you've gone through 3 plays that never got to stick. And they have actually lost 2 cards in hand, but they played 3 cards. They added 3 bodies to the field. It's actually a very strong swing of momentum. They can put a stop to a lot of stuff. Past then, they have access to 2 powerful in-house secret rares. They could either be using the secret rare that can steal your unison, which in this format is actually stronger and stronger the more you think about it. You play Jiren, and Jiren's very strong. That gets stolen, by their secret rare, and Jiren's a monster to be looking at on the other side of the board. You have a Android 17 and 18 unison from blue, and it has over 4 markers on it, and they steal it. That's very powerful. You have a Majin Buu unison, they steal it. That's pretty powerful. There's a lot of stuff that could not be good for the average human. So that's powerful, but you also have the counter, and that could be strong. You think you're gonna hatch them, or you think you're gonna violent raise. I don't know why you violent raise in this deck. Maybe against the unison because it's gonna be swinging monstrous, but yeah, they can counter you and then proceed to push your life in. They have Golden Frieza, which will blow your stuff up on swing, followed by Dormant Potential, so they can block the attack with Golden Frieza, and then you only have 1 more swing left. They have a lot of good stuff. They have a lot of good filter. The deck is very powerful, but with this in mind, this is the whole point of the video. The deck is going to be able to play a bunch of hand destruction as well. The Ribrians fit seamlessly into the deck because Cooler has points of it where you just aren't using energy, and Ribrian will just be like, okay, cool, well, drop that hand then. Cooler will take from hand. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happens. So now what we're looking at is a format where some of Green's bigger enemies are no longer here to terrorize them. But even further than that, we are now looking at a point where green has 3 viable decks in King Cold, his son Cooler, and I guess technically their distant relative Cell, because Cell has Freeze's cells in him. That's just what it is. And that is crazy that green has gone from meme to actually probably going to be a dominant force next set, in terms of both meta popularity as well as competitive viability. Cooler is at the top of competitive viability next set, mark my words. King Cold can throw hands still with the boys as a rogue, and Cell is not only going to be able to put up results, but is also going to be popular because of how easy it is to make. So you're going to have a format where you probably will need to make sure that you keep your Deborahs there again. You probably will need to make sure that you can battle hand destruction. You need to look at more of your barrier threats, which threats don't get smoked by charismatic. You're gonna have to play a different way, because green will be a force next set, and it will be popular to play. And if you don't have your deck set up with the right amount of assets / threats, you're gonna have a lot of your stuff wiped off before it can even swing sideways. You're gonna have your hand chipped away at, only for them to have 5 energy and go, you know what? Swing, swing, swing. How many cards in hand? 6? Cool. Rivian, pass. And you'll be like, wow. Okay. So yeah, I think nobody should be sleeping on green next set. I think green is in a place where it can actually put up the numbers, and I think it will be a solid choice next game. If you don't know how to play against Cooler or King Cold, or Cell, I suggest you learn how to play against that now, because they should be very popular decks coming into the next format. Hope you guys liked the video. Like I said, if you like the content, think about going down there and hitting that subscribe button. We're just cooking up a whole lot of stuff in Universe X. UniX DB, we're going to be doing more Legends content. The movie is coming out soon. So not only will I be doing some spoiler reviews on UniX Mag, but I also will be pulling for all the new beautiful Gohan and Piccolo units on UniX DB when it comes to Legends and Dokkan. Besides that though, little shout out, if you guys, if anybody's trying to get rid of a Goku or Gohan Piccolo SCR, you should reach out to me personally, because you guys already know how I feel about Gohan. This is my year for my movie, and I'm thinking that I'm gonna buy that for a birthday present for myself. That'll be my birthday present for myself, buying one of those SCRs, so hit me up, guys. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I will see you the next time inside Join Universe X. Later.